Thank you for listening to the Failsafe Moment. Grab a cup of coffee and let's join Rob Statham for another informative discussion helping people learn from things that go wrong.
Well, greetings, everybody. My name's Rob Statham. I'll be your host for this fail-safe moment. Um, Finally got started back up this year. I guess a belated Happy New Year to everybody. Uh, Today, I'd like to talk about the hardest lesson to learn. Uh, Honestly, it's why um, using failure as a growth strategy, I believe, is the hardest lesson to learn. Failure's certainly not the enemy. Unfortunately, it feels like it is many times, but think of it as the raw material for growth. I've experienced this over and over, both with organizations and individuals. They'll stumble, uh, experience a failure from one one system or another. And if they approach it in the right frame of mind, they'll actually grow stronger. They'll learn from it. The key is not avoiding failure, but it's literally using it as a stepping stone. I'd like to just talk a little bit in this podcast about why using failure as a growth strategy, why it works. Talk a little bit of how to embrace it and how you can use it to actually rebuild after you experience a setback with a failure. The first thing I need to talk about is truly understanding failure to use it as a growth strategy. It's often painted as a dead end, but honestly, it's a fork in the road. When you treat failure as a learning opportunity, you unlock potential. Uh, that mind shift change uh, is the key. It changes everything, and it's easy to say it's a challenging to incorporate, especially the larger the organization, the larger the group we're talking about. I know it seems straightforward and simple to treat failure as a learning opportunity, but when you're talking about doing this with a group of people, you have some issues that you have to face head on to do that. Uh, Obstacles to overcome to be successful. And most of the time, because of those obstacles, failure's treated like the plague. Uh, we choose the fork in the road that doesn't lead to learning, but it honestly, over time, it leads to more bigger failures. And um, I speak from experience. I've chosen the wrong fork in that road personally in my life, and I can testify to failure. Failure doesn't go away as much as I wish it would. It doesn't, and it's taken me a long time to learn that. And that's part of the reason I share this with everybody. I love the process Failsafe teaches, latent cause analysis, because it not only helps organizations improve their bottom line, it helps people improve their lives. And it's just a win-win across the board. That's what I love about it. Failure, I believe wholeheartedly, failure is trying to tell us something. And normally I say, but few are listening. I'll be honest with you. I think only the wise are listening. I think wisdom is a lost attribute in society today, and it takes wisdom to learn when things go wrong. Failure exposes weaknesses. That's the bottom line. We can run from it, or we can let our attention go towards it. That's what failure's trying. It's trying to draw our attention to what needs to be addressed. Honestly, it's revealing what's broken in our systems, in our processes, honestly, in us, in our personal habits. And ignoring failure means ignoring those things until they get so big that we can't ignore them. Facing failure head on means you can fix those things before the entire operation shuts down. That's the value with latent cause analysis. It works on small problems as well as large problems. And the answer to avoid large problems resides, it's the latent causes causing small problems are the same latent causes that will cause large problems. That's why this process that we share with people is so valuable. Think of a manufacturing plant that experiences repeated equipment breakdowns. Uh, Instead of doing an incident report and it just leaving a finger pointing at operations or maintenance, uh, think about approaching it as a culture that embraces the opportunity to learn, where it takes that failure and digs to the depth that it reveals latent causes. These are the causes that contributed by everyone within the organization. And when you understand latency, uh, it will help avoid the narrow focus on just the few that contributing factors that we normally seem to highlight and say, "Oh, we fixed this, we understand it," and because when we do that, honestly, it lends itself to blame, even if we don't intend that to happen. When you highlight a certain person or a small group of people involved closest to the failure, and we don't go on to understand why that happened, why they were involved the way they were, uh, we're actually hurting ourselves in the long run because we're contributing to a culture of blame. Latent causes reveal how all of the contributing factors played into the failure. Uh, that means how each one of us played a part in that failure. I love the example our friend human performance expert, I'll call him Todd Conklin, uh, he talked about an organization being like a sharp stick. Think of a spear. And when something goes wrong, it happens at the pointy end of the stick. And we look down there and go, "What did you do?" When in reality, we all have a hold of the stick. Our ripple effect may be different, but everybody contributes to things when they go right, and everyone contributes to things when they go wrong. That's why it's so important to understand latent causes. It gives everyone involved the opportunity to improve moving forward. That's what builds trust, which is the foundation of all healthy relationships. You need that at work. If you don't trust people you work with, you will never be performing at an optimal level. And it will also then increase productivity. Honestly, win-win for everyone involved. Um, Things, I guess, to remember, if I were to just point out some low-hanging fruit there, is failure highlights our problems. It goes beyond what we see, the equipment or some systemic issue. The hidden value, honestly, it's residing there. If we approach it and do an honest assessment. That's the key to continuous improvement. That's why I believe addressing latency helps build resilience and adaptability like no other process you can use. When failure is stigmatized, right? It goes out across the organization that we had a failure. We're just human beings. Human beings will tend to hide their mistakes. They don't want that under the spotlight. And in doing that, that self-preservation, it literally begins to feed a toxic culture of blame and fear. Now, the opposite, turn the coin over when failure is accepted as part of our process. This is where accountability then flourishes. You can reward it, you can recognize it, you can applaud it. Accountability means owning your actions and their outcomes, right? It means everyone involved asking, what did I do to contribute to this or to cause this? And how can I fix it? Instead of who did what wrong or who's to blame. In this shift, it's a mindset shift. It's critical for an organization or an individual that's looking to improve. Again, I can testify to this as from the individual side. Uh, my life has gotten better when I've been willing to look at myself and answer that question, what is it about the way I am that contributed to this failure, rather than blaming it on things or people around me. And the exact same thing is true for organizations. You're probably familiar with me and I've worked with you, uh, and you understand this. I hope this is encouraging you as I share. Um, so if you would like to foster this mind shift uh, within your organization, I highly encourage your leadership. If you're out there listening, you're in a position of leadership, that you encourage transparency with failures. And the best way to do that is to lead by example. You be out in front and go, look what I did. Look what I did. When you set the example, it will help others follow. And then reward learning uh, and problem solving, not just perfection, right? You want to recognize that, you know what, we're doing great, but for us to do better, there's things we need to learn. So the only way we're going to do that is by taking a solid look at ourselves when things go wrong, and you have the opportunity to reward that. And the third thing is certainly train your people, train your leaders how to respond constructively. That they're not part of creating an atmosphere that people want to hide mistakes, but how can they respond that this is in a constructive manner, that it will help your organization and the individuals involved build trust and grow. Think about creating a simple system that you can use to learn from failures by tracking common latent threads. If you take this approach, that's what will help build trust, and you'll see a shared commitment to improvement. Honestly, I know catastrophic failures, large failures, there's times they take the breath out of you. They can feel like full stop. It's like you were in a heavyweight fight and you didn't know it until the punch came. You never heard the opening bell. It just stops you in your tracks. And starting fresh, what to do with that to turn failure into growth. It's not just going to happen. It's not an accident. It's going to require uh, your systems to be ready for that, and also your people and their attitudes have to be there, that they're ready to go, oh, we have an opportunity here to learn and to hold ourselves accountable. That mind shift change. And to do that, honestly, if you begin to use latent cause analysis or whatever process you use, that you can keep a log and understand what you've learned, right? That you bring that up in front of people, that you hold meetings where you can look at lessons learned, not on who was to blame, but what we learned, that it's a time to celebrate that. That way, you'll teach teams how to handle setbacks constructively by learning, not just addressing the problem. You have to do more than just address the problem. You have to learn so we can grow and be stronger next time. And when you do that, you'll begin to see common latent threads associated with failures that you're facing. And once you start to identify those, you'll be able to address those hidden failure traps. That's what latent causes are. It's almost like they're hidden and veiled. You don't see them, but once you begin to review these and identify them, it's like bringing a flashlight into a dark room and you expose the true cause of your problems. Uh, Doing that will increase communication. It will help drive continuous improvement because you'll all raise the bar within your organization. Uh, and it will address latency, the hidden issues that are causing problems and will cause bigger problems down the line. Uh, the phrase learning from failure, it is more than a cliche. Honestly, it's a survival skill in this day and age. Without it, organizations will repeat the same mistakes, uh, wasting time and resources. And I travel all over teaching people this process, and we talk. Our flagship training's a 4-day latent cause experience, and I get to know people well. And what I just said, that organizations will repeat the same mistakes, wasting time and resources. You know better than I do. I hear those stories continually. The problem is people don't understand how to address latency. They don't think they're part of the problem. They think it's them. It's someone else holding the stick. And that's the problem. We all play a part, but we don't see our part. And if we don't address our part, they will never change. That's exactly what happens. That's why at Failsafe, we want to focus on uncovering latent causes. And addressing latency means digging beneath the surface problems where we can actually fix latent causes. This helps transform uh, people and your organization. It transforms your culture from blame to accountability. When you commit to learning from failure, you'll build stronger, more adaptable teams. You will improve your decision making and increase your reliability. Overall, your performance will go up. That's what I wanted to share with you today. I believe that without a doubt, the hardest lesson to learn is why to use failure as a growth strategy. But failure's not a setback, it's a setup for a comeback. Absolutely. Till next week, stay safe and feel free to contact us. I'd love to hear your comments.
Thank you for listening to the Failsafe Moment. We'd love to hear from you. Share your comments and questions below or contact us through our website, www.failsafe-network.com. Once again, that's www.failsafe-network.com. Until next time, have a great day.